If you've struggled with stress, balance, or burnout, and simply feel discouraged or even defeated, and if you're ready to move from force to flow and enjoy ultimate Zen success in your career, health, or relationships, then the Zen Success Show is for you. Your host, Carissa Sims, is an entrepreneur, corporate consultant, best-selling author, meditation teacher, and healer who has found her own Zen success. Here's your host, Carissa Sims. Welcome to this week's episode of Zen Success. I have the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Tracy Latz. Dr. Latz holds doctorates in medicine, metaphysics, and holistic healing, an MS in cell biology, immunology, and certifications in both mind-body medicine and clinical Qigong. Tracy is an international speaker, has published 7 scientific articles, co-authored 5 books on personal transformation, and has taught medical education for Wake Forest University Medical Center, Broughton State Psychiatric Hospital, and Asheville School of Medicine. She has a solo integrative practice in North Carolina, right?
That's correct.
With 35 years of clinical experience, she has priceless wisdom and an expertise in making complicated concepts fun and simple. Welcome, Dr. Latz.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's a joy to be here with you today.
Oh, well, I was just saying before we started the interview how radiant you look today and ageless. And part of it, I think, is your essence. It looks like you know how to have fun and joy in your life. Is that true?
That's true. And it took a minute to get there because I forgot it for a little while. But once I learned to reconnect to who Tracy is, I've really reconnected to the fun and letting the flow of life and that Zen come back in.
Oh, wonderful. So just any tips on how to do that?
Well,
Reconnect with our inner joy and child?
absolutely. One way is to take some time and be aware of how we sabotage at times. We tell ourselves lies that really aren't true. We say things like, I am not beautiful, or I am unlovable, or everything is too hard. And so when we learn to really step back and not be critical, but listen as if you were listening to your inner speak, like you were listening to a child, and kind of go, oh, honey, is that really true? And get someone to sort of look at it and reevaluate it and begin to create alternative mantras or statements to begin to step into a new belief system, because there's so much joy and radiance and peace out there, but we somehow have learned to beat ourselves up when we begin to see it or think that we're not worthy of it. And we can get tripped up by things we were told by other people, by events, by politics, by all sorts of things. And when we really get to the basics of who we are, it really is this joyful, peaceful place. And we realize I'm no different from you, and you're no different from me, and we're no different from anyone else. But we like to think we are at times. And that's sad. So I love to give people tips on how to be in their heart, how to picture a loving, compassionate benefactor, and it can change every day, but a wonderful exercise to really connect us with the joy and essence of ourself is to picture someone or something, because some people will say, I have no person. And I'll say, do you have a pet? Did you used to? Do you have an animal you love? Do you have a child that is in your life from someone else? And you picture whoever that is as if they were sitting or standing in front of you right now. And you look deeply into their eyes and you sense the absolute compassion that they have for you flowing to you. And some people will think, I can't accept it until I send it first. So I'll say, great, go ahead. Send your love and compassion to them first and see their response. And now look deeper into their eyes, because the eyes truly are the window to the soul. And look deep into their eyes, and you'll see that inner light and that compassion. And when you see that, allow that to flow over to you, and you'll feel yourself just go into this peaceful, heart-centered place. And when you feel that in that meditation of viewing them, allow that love to flow, and then allow them to move around your left shoulder, come behind you, and send love back to you. As you open your eyes, and you now are in your heart, and it sounds like a lovely meditation, but now the true exercise is to now go about your day. Not just say, that was lovely, and that was cool, I felt good, but actually go about your day. Get in your car, go to the store, go to work, deal with people in your home, whatever it is, but feel them still with you, still sending love to you, and it will keep you in that childlike, compassionate, wondrous place. And it can change everything. And it can begin to bring that peace or joy or zen and really life force into your own body. For me, when I reminded myself how to do this, I was probably about 40, had been very intuitive as a child, but had a lot of things that went on in my life. And I sort of shut down the intuition, shut down that connection to who I truly was, and lost a little bit of the joy of Tracy. And it wasn't until I had finished all my scientific training, had my 3 children, and began to uh, see the limits of some of the ways that I've been trained to deal with my patients, to walk in my own life, always compassionate for others, but I would put myself on the back burner or in the basement. And I had to learn how to wake back up. And part of that was a health scare. And part of that was an issue with a patient that came in who had been in therapy for years, had been on medications of various sorts, and had been off and on seeing no point in breathing or living anymore. And we'd gotten to the point where I had agreed I would no longer send her to a hospital against her will if she got to that point again. And I had her agree to not lie to me and to tell me how she was doing. So she wasn't going to lie, but she decided she wasn't going to answer when I asked, how are you doing and are you safe? And suddenly I had all of this angst come up. What can I do? I'd kind of given my word I would not send her to a hospital against her will. And suddenly I got very still, and I heard an inner voice say, tell her, and it was 3 lines that made no sense to me. And I thought, she'll think I'm nuts. And then I had this internal argument, well, who cares? This is that self-judgment. What will they think of me? And all of a sudden I heard it again, and I said, what would you say if I told you? And I said, whatever those 3 lines were, that made no sense. And suddenly I could see the light come back into her eyes. And she said, how do you know that? And I said, that's not important. I just said, what does it mean to you? And it was 3 lines of a poem from a book of poems that one of her grandmothers would read to her as a child when she knew that she was struggling. And suddenly she was back in her heart and allowing her life force to come through, and she was ready to move forward. And I said, tell me about your grandmother. And she just began to beam, and she was fine. And 3 years later, when she had worked through everything and was very healthy, she reached back and sent me a card and said, there was one day in your office I need for you to know it made all the difference in the world. And I was like, oh. So, we can reconnect with who we were or who we are. We forget it. We think we lost that. We lost our innocence. We lost that joyful wonder. But when you open back up and just allow it, it comes. When I began to do that and put myself on not the back burner, but began to meditate regularly, in a way. Sometimes I would have music playing. I'd be in the backyard doing yard work, and I had this music playing. I would visualize this beautiful golden ball of light that would come down and just restore my vitality and restore all of my cell atoms and molecules back to perfection. And using that, I really did turn around a breast issue that had come up. Later, I had a knee issue where I actually have a bone that got chipped, and cartilage knocked off the end of a long bone in my knee. And an orthopedist said, I don't know how you're walking on this. And I was like, oh, well, and no surgery. And I just began to rely on my own inner knowing and began to be aware of when I was feeling in that heart space, because that's the key to connecting to your own vitality. And so I work with people, and have now for years, trying to help them understand how to let go of these lies, these faulty beliefs, this belief I'm abandoned, I'm powerless, my heart's too broken, no one's going to love me, I'm too damaged, and get them to rewrite those scripts, challenge it and rewrite it, and find a practice, whether it be yoga, whether it be Tai Chi, whether it be Qigong, meditation, prayer, things that are done from a place of compassion and wonder and playfulness, as opposed to doing it out of fear. Some people are like, I have to go pray and do all this because if I don't, XYZ bad things will happen. Instead, do it out of recognition of the joy and the wonder and the connection that it gives you. That brings vitality back.
That's wonderful. The whole time that you were talking, my third eye is tingling. So isn't that interesting? I don't know if like part of your being is healing me right now or just activating something within me. I don't know. Do people have that experience around you?
They have, and
Okay.
I've had people who come into my office, and it's really kind of funny. Sometimes I'll just kind of sit and go, okay, I'll hold this space for them, but they will come in, and on their second or third meeting, I had one woman who actually said, before I leave, I got some paint chip colors. Can I match this to the color of the walls in your office, because I feel so good in here and I don't know why. And I
Oh,
just I went, okay. I moved out of the way and they were matching. And I just thought, okay.
whatever makes them happy. They're
That's
in
right.
denial of your energy. Could that be what makes them feel better now?
Well, it's possible. I make a
Possible.
point. I
Yeah.
make a point of getting into my
Okay.
heart, and I
Yeah.
have trained in holistic healing. And
Mm-hmm.
uh, when you understand that a lot of things we focus on are all the physicals, and the physicals are only 2 to 8% of what actually is, because there's so much more in the unseen world, that makes up us. We now know atoms and molecules. Back, when I was taught, it really was, we were shown a model and it was this giant nucleus with these balls connected right to it, not moving, that, were all the parts of the atom. And nowadays, we now know that space in between the nucleus and the electrons and protons and all of these extra spaces in the atom, we now know the atom itself that makes up all the molecules, that make up all the physicality of all that's around us, is only 2 to 8%. And we now know that space is affected mostly by our thoughts, our consciousness, where we intend for things. And so we're co-creating with the universe at every moment. And when you realize that, and some people are like, Dr. Latz, that sounds a little nutty. I'll say, okay, keep one foot in your dogma, but let one kind of dance around. And for one day, say, what if? What if what I think about my body can change it? What if I sit in more abundant and peaceful thoughts? What will that do? How will that affect me? How will that affect my relationships? How will that affect my vitality? How will that affect my voice in the world? Whatever that is, painting, writing, speaking, being in that compassionate stance. So in that way, we all are emanating energies of either love and compassion and hope and vibrant light-filled creation, or we are trying to contain it and put it on a shelf somewhere. And that's where people start feeling stuck, or they start feeling less vibrant. And, it really brings you downhearted, which is kind of interesting. That word has heart in it as well. We can either be uplifted or we get very down and sad when we really put cages on our heart and on what we're possibly capable of doing or being, because truly with love all things are possible. And that's true in all spiritual paths. I don't know one of them that doesn't hold that up.
That's wonderful. So many things are running through my mind, but I'm going to go back to what we were talking about in the beginning, because my daughter will have negative self-talk, and the source could be from my son. They get into it a lot, and he'll make comments, but she's taken them on, just like you said, and so she'll say things about her intellectual abilities and call, herself not so smart.
Yes.
And I'm choosing my words carefully because I know words are powerful, and I don't want to say that about myself. I don't want to be like so careful about it, but regardless, you get what I'm saying as I'm beating on the bush.
I do.
And so what I've done, I really like your strategy of having this person or an animal sit across from them. I haven't tried that, so that's amazing. And what I've done, which may be a little bit harsh, so I'm going to run it by you. I say, cancel. Now say 3 things positive about yourself and claim it.
That can be good. I remember back when I was just sort of trying to figure this out, and I would pause and I'd go, yes, words do mean something. And the intention, the power of the emotion behind the word. When I write, I talk about the bow and arrow of creation, where we pull back on the bow. That's the power of our emotion. And the arrow is our thought. And the thought will direct our energy, but our emotional energy has the power to send a rocket to the moon or to send a big old bomb blowing up somewhere. I mean, this is kind of the powerfulness of who we are if we step into it. So early on, I too would walk around, and my staff used to laugh at me when I first did this, because they go, Dr. Tracy, what are you doing? And I'd go, because they'd see me do this and do this. And I go, well, I've caught myself in the middle of sort of not being in my heart, because we're either anything is of compassion or of fear. And so when I realized that was kind of snarky, I will like take it out of my heart, cancel, take it out of my thought field, and then out of my heart state what it is I desire instead of what I don't like, and send it out that way. I have worked with adolescents, children in my practice, as well as adults.
Okay.
And I often will teach them that, and they'll laugh. When they laugh, I teach them, because when they'll go, how can that work? And I'll show them an exercise where you can literally quickly make fingers on one of your two hands grow like up to 1/4 of an inch in about a minute and a half. It's kind of fun. And then they're kind of like, oh my God, this actually works. And I'm like, yeah, it does. But I will teach them also something called the Qigong emotional release, because often when someone holds on to a faulty belief, they'll either have sadness or anger, like
Yes,
especially
that
if it's a
happens.
sibling. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Anger.
I'll say, okay, how big is the anger? Because I teach EFT, emotional freedom
Oh,
technique too, but Qigong emotional release is so much quicker. And a child often is like, I'm not going to tell you really what I'm thinking, or
yes.
what, but, I could say, how big is your anger? 0 to 10. It's a 10. Great. Forget about it. And then I'll say, just repeat after me. And all they have to remember is Song Kong Tong, Bing, Xuan Yu. I don't speak Chinese, but I was taught by
You sound like you do. It
I was
came
taught,
out very good.
I'm sure someone out there speaks Chinese and they're like, what are you doing? But my Qigong master, the second one I had, who was so heartfelt, Robert Peng, who I think the world of, he taught us all this Song Kong Tong, Bing Xuan Yu. Song Kong Tong, Bing Xuan Yu. So you tap on the syllable of the sounds of these Chinese characters. And you do that
Uh-huh.
I say 4 to 6 times, and I go, you have 5 fingers on the other hand. Just count them off this way.
Yeah.
But you do it here on the center of the crown, the top of the head, to let go of anything even that with that emotion is blocking you from God's source universe, whatever you understand that's bigger than you. We do it on third eye so that we can see the big picture. We do it over the heart center, because that, if the emotion is blocking our heart, which it often will, it will help release that. And then we do it 2 or 3 finger widths below the belly button. Song Kong Tong, Bing Xuan Yu. So 5 times here, 5 here, 5 here, and then 5 below the belly button and lower dantian, our second chakra, where the emotional one, our inner child, lives. And once you have said that and tap that, and you tap it on the syllable, right? Song Hong Tong, Bing Xuan Yu. Once you do that at each of those, 4 to 6 times, 5, easy. Take a deep breath to release, and then you re-rank. And I've had grown men and children in my office go from a 10 to a 0, or in classes that I teach, seminars. Or if they go from 0 to a 5, I'll say, let's do it again. And what that means, Song Kong Tong, Bing Xuan Yu, it means I open myself up and call in the light of the universe to fill my body and my energies, my mind, releasing any negativity and sealing me up perfectly calm, balanced, and centered. Kids love this because they don't have to talk to me about the stuff that they're like, I'm not going to tell you that I feel guilt or shame. That's real
Oh,
big.
yeah.
I'm too guilty or ashamed to tell you about it. Great. Don't tell me about it, but try this. Rank it, tap, then tell me where it is. great. If that doesn't work, I can go to EFT. And,
Yeah.
I have given, when I teach, I give people EFT protocols that are the primary faulty beliefs that people get into, that why they believe I'm unlovable or I am too guilty or ashamed. And I collaborated with my co-author, who is Dr. Ross, Marion Ross, and we come very differently. We kind of joke, we're kind of like the yin and yang when we teach or when we write, because I come from that yin aspect and very much working in etheric and astral, and she comes from a very physical, yang sort of a thing. But both of those approaches work because some people prefer that. They're like, I'm not going to meditate. I don't think I can. And I'll tell you, I have yet to find someone who can't meditate. They will often think they can't because they're clairsentient instead of clairaudient or clairvoyant. And they'll say, I don't see things or hear things. And I'll go, I'm a psychiatrist. We have a medication for that. But you don't have to see or hear things. You can feel things or have clear emotion, clear feeling about things. And you can carry someone through a very quick exercise to help them understand what is their go-to meditative spiritual communication sense. And once someone who is clairsentient realizes, oh, I'm not broken, I actually can meditate, then they'll take that meditation journey a little bit more to heart. And when you practice that more, you develop all three, clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience. And, some people will have clear smelling. They'll start smelling, I smell rose, or I smell, and it's cool. So I meet people where they are and give them tools. And I give them a lot of tools in what I teach in Bye Bye Self-Sabotage, Drop Your Baggage, Love Your Life. I give a lot. We have free things on a YouTube channel. We show you how to do the Qigong emotional release in a video for
Okay.
free on Shift Your Life TV channel on YouTube. We also show a demo video for emotional freedom technique, EFT, for people who don't know that. We also have a video there showing how to grow your fingers for the people who are like, I want to freak someone out, okay.
That's funny. Well, can you share the inspiration behind this book you have behind you, Bye Bye Self-Sabotage?
uh it's piecing together everything that I learned and my co-author learned from my own clinical training, but also through my training at Delphi University and Ancient Mystery School, if you will, a spiritual school it's a non-denominational Christian mystery school where you reawaken intuition through very specific steps. And then I was trained in inner sanctuary training while I was there. And that is a wonderful journey that it's solely meditative, and you get a whole inner temple and journey. And there are a number of people teaching that. But what I found that helpful for keeping me centered after I went through my sort of reopening at around 40, at age 40, and I'm 63 now, so it's been a minute. Uh, uh, I took that and was teaching it one weekend out of every month for about 3 or 4 years after I took it, because it just kept me centered and not biting the hook of old stuff. But I began to find that some people who had taken it would have profound experiences, but they would come back a year, 3 years later, and they'd kind of have gone back to their old ways. And I was like, what's problematic about this? So I sat down and I actually sent a questionnaire, because I'm that sort of OC about really understanding what makes people tick in that way. And I asked them, what brought you to the class? Emotionally, spiritually, physically, thought issues. What changed for you in the weekend class? Are you still using your inner sanctuary journey? If so, what is your favorite area of that whole journey to go to? And then lastly, what is the area that's your least favorite or that you avoid? And it just kind of was jaw dropping when I found that people who had anger issues were avoiding the area that would transform the anger. Uh,
Yes.
and people would escape, because some people will, meditation is wonderful, but we all know some people who are like, they kind of escape into meditation and they're not
Uh-huh.
grounded and they're not fully here.
Yeah.
And the beauty of meditation is when you learn to stay grounded, meditate, receive ahas or information, but bring it to here, not leave it up there and then go, that was really cool,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
use it in your personal life and in your connection and allow it to help you understand more and more of who you are. And the fact that this is Earth School and we all have sort of a big P purpose and we all have little p purposes. And the little p purposes are understanding those lies, those things we tell ourselves that stop us and that create health issues, that create relationship, business, other issues. So that's where we kind of just go through and try and give pieces and break it down, because I've reached out to my mentors who I think the world of. Patricia Hayes, astounding woman who created that school, Delphi. I reached out to her. I reached out to her sister, Janice, and I said, I love teaching inner sanctuary problem, but I have an issue with some of my patients who have trauma, who have anxiety, depression, that have come to me for guidance with that. And I said, I think I see where there's a little bit of some yips here, and maybe I've started teaching based on this now, adding in some other things. And I said, I'm happy to help you if you want to redo that or revamp it. And they sat, and Patricia, God love her, she reached out and she said, I absolutely trust and know what you're doing and what your big P purpose is out in the world. I get that. And when I kind of came through with this inner journey that was one whole meditation, she said she did it to help the people who were going through what's called Rohan, a process that they do there and they teach there. And a lot of people get sucked into a little bit of a darker space because you really focus on those negative, repetitive things you fall and prey to. And she said, we developed that, and it was sort of given to help those people kind of be back in this state of peace and hold it. And she goes, but I understand you're in the real world working with people who really have severe trauma. And she says, I give you absolute carte blanche to rewrite, redo whatever you
Oh,
need to do, add in. And that's what I did. I added in so much that I've learned. And over the years, we kept adding more. And I'm a perpetual student. I'm always looking for what is out there that I can learn and then give to people at a cost that's not like crazy. Because, I've paid crazy money training at different things. And I know that most of the people I work with, the average person wouldn't be able to afford doing that. So I try and boil it down, make it simple, and give it back out there. And so that's how this came to be. It's sort of, we had done one book and then we said, yeah, but, and then we had a publisher who wanted to pick it up and they wanted it just for women. And we said, it's for men too. And they said, we want it for women. And they wanted meditations that dealt with chakras. that dealt with some of the color and sound healing with chakras to be taken out because they said that was religious. And I was like, no. But anyway, it morphed and morphed and morphed. And so this, I feel, is absolutely complete. And I feel good about it. And I know that it stands on its own, because my biggest angst was, do people need me and my co-author in a room to hold the space and create the space for people to transform? And so I had a friend who owned a spa, and I kind of said, here's the deal. I'd like, if you'd let me come in there for free, we're going to offer to 50 people to come in, and I'm just going to show slides. I'm not going to get all with it. I'm just going to give information and give them the tools for anger. And then we're going to go and give another one that's just for, and broke it down for each
Okay.
of the obstacles, and found it could stand alone. And so then I felt like I'm not doing a disservice or possibly creating a problem for someone by us putting that out in this book. And for people, we have the meditations written out here. We have some people who are like, I can't read it. And so we say, you can record it yourself reading it, or a friend.
Yeah. Good
And then
idea.
we recorded some, and we were like, okay, you can get the book digitally for cheap, and you can get the old meditations, which stayed the same, that I used as we went through for each of the pieces. And just trying to give the tools to people, because we're in a time where, let's face it, we need assistance with shifting consciousness out of this fear and this anger. And we keep seeing cycles of it, and we just went through one. And right now there's a lot of people sad and anxious, and if I can help, this is part of my purpose, not only to assist with stepping consciousness through to hopefully a level that creates more unity, but also to meld more Western medicine with really ancient wisdom. Because we used to have a time where people were physician, healer, priests, and it was all
Mm,
seen as one. When in
mm.
Western medicine we focus solely on physical, that's cool. If your appendix is rupturing, get to the ER, let's go. I could be all about that. But we could have such more profound effects health wise if we fully embraced, once again, not just physical. We've thrown a bone now to emotions and thoughts with some mind body medicine. And the fact that meditation, we go like, yeah, that's kind of cool, throw that in there, but it could be taken so much more fully, and really bring all the old wisdom back. And I just worked with someone yesterday who walked in, and she had done the class with me years ago, but more recently had a spinal fracture. She's in her late 70s. She's got significant pain, and I don't think they're wanting to operate on her. So she came in, and I said, okay, I want you to remember some of the things you learned, but we're also going to use some new tools and some energetic things. And an hour and a half later, she was walking out of the meditation room, along with her daughter, and she was pain free, for the first time in like a year and a half. And I say, that's not me. It's me helping you connect to what somehow we all used to know how to connect to. So,
Mm,
yeah,
interesting. Well,
yeah,
I love the tagline, drop the baggage, love your life. So that's
yeah,
wonderful. And it's even more than that, right? You have this story of a patient walking out pain-free
yeah,
from your office. It's like profound.
yeah.
And then can you share a little bit about your other programs online? You have Shift Your Life and Awakening Awareness.
Right. Shift Your Life is the signature intensive Shift Your Life course,
Okay.
where we videotaped, in in segments so that people can stop. We videotaped each meditation. We videotaped each issue within this bye-bye self-sabotage, where we start with feeling unlovable. Because if you don't shift that faulty belief, and a lot of people go, I don't think that's my issue. I'm like, oh, have you like ascended yet? You know, uh,
You're
if you
saying
don't,
pretty much if we're here on Earth, we have that issue.
right, right. I have some people who are very spiritual, have an incredible practice, great healers, and they come in and they're like, I'm almost ashamed to see you because I can't see this myself. And I'm like, what makes you think you're unlovable? You know, uh, we all, even if, you know, it could be something as simple as when we were two, a younger sibling was born, and suddenly we were the
Uh-huh.
prince or princess, and suddenly we're chopped liver because this new baby is crying, and our parents are like, go do something in the other room while
Yeah,
we take care of this one.
that's my
And
son too. My son was firstborn and has that. He admits
uh,
it too.
see, and if we don't shift that faulty belief about ourselves, we will not shift anything else. We won't let go of feeling powerless because we're unlovable anyway. We won't let go of
Oh,
guilt or shame because I'm unlovable. I deserve that.
oh my
You know,
God. It's like
yeah.
a kingpin or something.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And so we start with in the book, and even in, you know, I've said, because I've had some people go when I teach a live class, they'll say, can I show up for the second half of the first day? I'm like, oh no. Oh no. But that signature course, you know, we tried to lower the price certainly than post pandemic, because it's 18 hours of, if you were going straight through, and it's, we give you access to that, and you can repeat things, and you have access for a year if you do the online class. A lot of people don't get it, you know, because some people are like, I got the book and I worked through it and that was kind of cool. And I go, have you ever gone back? And they're like, what do you mean? Why would I have to go back? I'm like, well, because we're like that lotus. We open up in layers. And so some people come and they're in pain about a relationship or about a health crisis. And so I'll say, okay, go through it with that which is in your face on fire right now, and deal with, how is it I feel unlovable from that? What's my guilt and shame? What's my anger? How do I feel abandoned? Why am I powerless? Where's my lack of self-love, and
Mm.
why is my heart so broken? Because once you shift through each of these, you are then you gain awareness of the reactive selves we have that help us keep holding on to this negative chatter energy because we thought it protected us. And maybe it did, depending on what was going on in our childhood growing up. But we don't need that protection now. And so we go through a meditation and an exercise where each person becomes aware of which reactive selves are the most active in them, and with what people. We'll start with just saying, pick someone who's just annoying, that you know, not that you see every 5 years, that you see frequently. And then carry them through understanding the interaction and the fact that with that person, they may be doing the waltz, because those are the reactive selves they're dealing with. But with the boss or someone else, they have like this issue with, when they look at that, they see, I'm using some other reactive selves here. And every single time I get into this feeling with them, it's that same, like, cha cha cha, you know. And so we begin to be aware, and the awareness is the, oh. And then we give a meditation where you're given the opportunity. I'm like, I'm not forcing you to let go of anyone, but feel free to let go of any of those reactive selves that might be creating some issues. And once you do that, then you're given your temple of wisdom, where you can go into and have immediate access to any question, no matter how big or so small, depending on your own self, your own circumstance, your own relationships, and the world, uh, because it's all of these uh, obstacles, we say, uh, that are keeping you from opening up that clear channel, the pipette of either flowing straight from root chakra to crown to connect, or from, you know, coming up, opening up the central meridian to be able to connect as above, so below, and you can get access to things. So people will go through the book or go through the class for whatever's in their face. And then I'll say, have you ever gone back and now go back and deal with something maybe from childhood, doing all the meditations
Hmm.
based on that? Because it'll be a different, when you do the EFT, you'll start saying, oh, it's not that I thought I was unlovable because I didn't get the raise when I was dealing with my boss. It's thought I was unlovable because my dad yelled at me or slapped me or
Hmm.
whatever it was.
Mhm.
So you can go back through and work on issues to allow that lotus to fully blossom, and you let go of more and more debris so that your inner light shines so much more brightly. And people will say, you look radiant, or
Mhm.
when I first went through this at age 40, I had my patients, I had friends go, did you have a facelift? You look 10 years younger. And I was like, no, I still have it.
Yeah, you still have it. That's amazing. I love that. And I love your laugh and joy. I wanted to share a synchronicity. I was in a meditation and healing on Wednesday, and Kuan Yin came to me and showed me that I was the lotus. She said I was growing out of the mud.
That is
And she
beautiful.
said, these are your layers that are coming up. And I was like, yeah, it was like really beautiful. So,
It
and
is
then you're
beautiful.
talking about the lotus, and it just feels like the universe or whoever is just like continuing to give me that message through you and other things.
Well, you are a beautiful lotus and you are opening up. And so embrace that. Don't be like, oh, that's, be like, yes,
Yes,
yes, I am
I
that. So
am a lotus. Okay, how's that? I'm claiming
yay,
it.
that's right. And I am opening up for me in the world, and that's
Mm,
beautiful.
okay.
Allow it, step into it. So
Yeah.
that's what the signature course is about. The
Oh, I
awakening
see.
awareness is a shorter course that just for people who say, how can I learn to meditate and learn to be centered and keep a foot, like a shaman in that
Mm.
other space, because this is but one dimension, and we have all these other dimensions, and it's really a almost a meditation course or a mind body course of learning how to be mindful, truly mindful. And some people need that. They're like, I don't know about this other stuff. I don't think I need to work on being unlovable. I'm like, we can hold the space for you. Here's this. You could
When
do
you're ready.
awakening awareness. That's right.
Yeah.
And that's where I am. Meet people where they are
Hmm.
and say yes. And then kind of like improv, yes, and when they're ready, so it's all
Mm.
good.
Oh, that makes sense. Are you a Qigong master?
I am not a Qigong master. Who makes someone a master?
I now make you a master. You are,
Huzzah!
see, we did it. Now you're a master. I don't know.
I
I
am the,
just feel that from you.
oh,
So
bless.
I mean, I know it's like not necessarily a certification. Like you said,
That's
it's
okay.
just like everyone's talking about you being a master, and then all of a sudden you are, right?
That's right. That's right. So I will now add to my resume that I am a Qigong master of the Sims Zen Success School.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to have people flocking to me to get that
That's right.
certification.
That's right.
Okay.
Certifications here.
I only give out one in my lifetime. Sorry, everybody.
I feel
Um,
so honored.
yes, you got it. Okay, so I wanted to ask, do you have a quick practice that can improve any relationship?
The one that improves any relationship really is that loving, compassionate benefactor. To take that moment and get into your heart, because most
Mm.
relationship stress and strife is because when we get into that place where we feel like, we're both stressed, often, one person's like, I'm so stressed, they have no clue. And the other person's like, I'm so stressed, they have no clue. And we're both wanting attention. We're both wanting a return to that mate who just thought we were the bee's knees and our heart opened every time we saw them. But often we'll just get into this space where if we're having argument or disagreement over time, we will come in and already be, as we're walking in the door, I bet it's going to be this negative experience. So if you can try that loving benefactor meditation, which it's in the book. I've also put it now on our YouTube channel, Shift Your Life TV. You close your eyes, but with practice, you don't even need to close your eyes. Okay, when you practice it enough, I can sit here right now and see mine beyond, standing behind the computer here, my loving benefactor, and your loving benefactor can change. Some people are like, but it wasn't the same. That's okay. Bring to mind whoever it is in that day, because if you just argued with them and it was your spouse, it's probably not going to be them. So you allow them to come, stand, sit right in front of you, look deeply into their eyes, sense their depth of love and compassion flowing to you. If you have to send it to them first, go for it. And then see them respond,
Mm.
look even deeper, allow that to come. And when you do that, I've had people, even with their spouses in my office, where I'm carrying someone who's in all this angst, and I'll say, close your eyes, carry them through it. And you could see them go from this to, you can visually see when they open their heart, because they'll,
Mm.
and even I've had the spouse start to go, did you? And I'll just go like this, because they have their eyes closed, and I'm like, now continue to look into their eyes and continue to feel that love flowing to you, that compassion. And as they're sending love and compassion, and you feel that warmth or fullness in your heart, because when you feel that, you are in your loving self. And it's impossible to be in our angry, unworthy, uncaring self when we're in our heart and in our loving self. So that loving benefactor moves all the way around the left shoulder. And yes, there's a reason it's the left, but they come around the left shoulder. They'll stand or sit here behind your shoulder, still sending you love and compassion. You take a deep breath, release it, open your eyes, and you still feel them there. Now walk into the room where there may have been some relationship issue, or you need to give some difficult news to someone, or tell someone no with compassion, because people can hear it when you're in your heart versus when you're in your head. No, you can't have that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wish I could help you, as opposed to, no, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that, but we might be able to brainstorm some ways you could get that.
Mm.
Uh, it changes the energy.
Yeah.
And, I know everyone talks about, the magnetic field of the brain and the magnetic field of the heart. Well, the magnetic field of the heart expands only when we're in the heart. Okay.
Mm.
So when we make a choice, and you could do it before having to give an interview. I do that typically before I teach a class,
That's
before an
nice.
interview, to get into that space. But you can go through a meditation where you can continue to see that heart field grow, and now expand and fill the room, and now expand and fill the house or the building, and now expand and fill the block. And you can carry that all the way out until it has expanded all the way out into the universe. And people go, that sounds so silly, but it's very, very powerful. And,
Hmm. Or multiple
try it.
universes.
That's right. Multiple dimensions.
In multiple dimensions and universes.
That's right. We could go
So,
there, but that's another show.
well, what is Zen success to you?
Oh, Zen success is when I'm in my heart, which I think is Zen.
Beautiful.
I am successful in anything I do. And it's that old mantra, everything I touch turns to liquid light or gold. And that ripples out, and that is success because it has a powerful impact not only on me, my body, my life, but my relationships and my purpose in the world.
That gave me chills. I think maybe because you felt it with every cell of your being.
Yeah.
It's been such a pleasure connecting with you and hearing about your book, Bye Bye Self-Sabotage. And I'll put your website and how to order your books and take your courses in the show notes, your YouTube channel. So thank you for being on my show today.
Thank
Dr.
you so
Tracy.
much for having me here. It's been a true honor. You truly are Lotus.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it for today's episode of Zen Success. Head on over to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show and share with friends. Be sure to head on over to ZenSuccessShow.com to help you on your Zen success journey. And join us on the next episode. May you find your own Zen success in life.